Some said he was the one they had been waiting for. Others were sure he couldn't be. How can the same person create both faith and doubt at the exact same time? And what do you do when truth stands in front of you, but people around you completely disagree about it? The city was still alive with the energy of the festival. Voices filled the streets, conversations overlapped, and everywhere you turned, people were talking. But now, the focus had shifted. It wasn't just about the celebration anymore. It was about Jesus. Some of the people in Jerusalem began to ask a question that had been quietly growing beneath the surface. Isn't this the man they are trying to kill? That question carried weight, because it meant something had changed. Jesus was no longer just a teacher in the background. He had become a figure of tension, of controversy, of attention. And yet something didn't add up. Here he was, speaking openly in public, teaching freely, and no one was stopping him. So people began to wonder, have the authorities really concluded that he is the Messiah? But just as quickly as that thought arose, doubt followed. Wait, we know where this man is from. When the Messiah comes, no one will know where he is from. In just a few moments, you can see the division forming. Hope followed by hesitation, curiosity followed by confusion. It's almost like watching a wave rise and fall. And this is where the story becomes deeply human, because it reflects something we still experience today. People don't just respond to truth with agreement. They respond with interpretation. They filter what they see through what they already believe, through what they've been taught, through what they expect, and that shapes their conclusion. Jesus hears what is being said, and he responds, not with anger, not with frustration, but with clarity. He says, yes, you know me, and you know where I am from. I am not here on my own authority, but he who sent me is true. There is something powerful in that statement. Jesus acknowledges what they think they know, but then reveals what they don't. They knew his background, they knew his hometown, they knew the surface details, but they missed the deeper reality. They didn't recognize the one who sent him. And that changes everything, because knowing about someone is not the same as truly knowing them. You can know facts, but still miss the truth. You can have information, but still lack understanding. And that is exactly what was happening here. The people were trying to figure Jesus out based on what made sense to them. But Jesus didn't fit into their expectations. He didn't follow their assumptions. And because of that, they struggled to believe. This moment reveals something that is both simple and difficult at the same time. Truth is not always accepted, even when it is right in front of us. Sometimes the greatest barrier to truth is not lack of evidence. It is the framework we use to interpret it. If something doesn't fit into what we expect, we question it, we resist it, we dismiss it, not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't match what we thought it would look like. Jesus continues, saying, "You do not know him, but I know him because I am from him, and he sent me." That statement goes deeper than anything they had considered. It shifts the conversation from appearance to origin, from surface to source, and that is where everything becomes clear. Because the question is no longer, where is Jesus from? The real question becomes, who sent him? And that is a much bigger question. It's not just about geography. It's about identity. It's about authority. It's about truth. At this point, the tension rises. Some people begin to feel threatened. Others feel drawn, and some don't know what to think. The leaders try to seize him. They want to stop him, to silence him. But something unexpected happens. No one lays a hand on him. Why? Because his time had not yet come. There is something deeply reassuring about that. It reminds us that no matter how chaotic things may seem, no matter how strong the opposition, God's timing is never disrupted. Nothing happens outside of his plan. Even in moments of tension, he is in control. Meanwhile, the crowd continues to wrestle with what they are seeing. Some begin to believe. They say, when the Messiah comes, will he perform more signs than this man? It's a simple question, but a powerful one, because it comes from observation. They had seen what Jesus did. They had heard what he said, and something inside them recognized, this is different. This is real. But not everyone reached that conclusion. Others were still uncertain, still questioning, still divided. And this is where the story reflects our own world so clearly. We live in a time where opinions are everywhere. People see the same thing, and come to completely different conclusions. Some believe, some doubt. Some stay in the middle, and often the difference is not what they see, but how they interpret it. The Pharisees hear the crowd whispering, they sense the shift, they feel the tension, and they send temple guards to arrest Jesus. They want control, they want order, they want to maintain their authority. But truth has a way of disrupting control. It doesn't always fit into systems, it doesn't always align with power structures, and when that happens, resistance follows. Jesus then says something that adds another layer to the moment. I am with you for only a short time, and then I am going to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me. This statement confuses them even more. They begin to wonder, where is he going? Is he leaving? Is he going somewhere they cannot follow? Once again, they are trying to understand with limited perspective. They are thinking in physical terms. But Jesus is speaking about something greater, something eternal. And that gap between what he is saying and what they understand creates even more division. Because truth that is not fully understood can feel unsettling. It challenges comfort. It disrupts certainty. It forces people to think beyond what is familiar, and not everyone is willing to do that. So the division grows. Some say he is the Messiah. Others say he cannot be. The Messiah does not come from Galilee. They begin to argue, to debate, to question, to divide. And that is the reality of truth. It doesn't always unite immediately. Sometimes it divides first, because it exposes what people truly believe. It reveals what is in the heart. It brings hidden thoughts to the surface. And in that process, differences become visible. But division is not the final goal, it is part of the process. Because through that tension, clarity can emerge. People are forced to choose, to decide, to respond. And that is what this moment is really about. Not just who Jesus is, but how people respond to him. Some saw him as a threat, others saw him as hope. Some rejected him, others believed, and some remained unsure. That same pattern continues today. Jesus is still a figure of division. Not because he is unclear, but because people respond differently to truth. Some embrace it, some resist it, some question it, and each response reveals something deeper. It reveals what we value, what we trust, what we believe. This passage invites us to reflect on our own response. Who is Jesus to you? Not based on what others say, not based on assumptions, but based on truth. Have you taken the time to truly seek, to truly listen, to truly understand? Or are you relying on what you've heard, what you've assumed, what you've always believed? Because the difference matters, it shapes everything. Your perspective, your decisions, your life. Jesus didn't come to fit into expectations. He came to reveal truth. And truth requires a response. It invites you to move beyond surface-level thinking, to go deeper, to question, to seek, to discover. And that journey is not always easy. It involves uncertainty. It involves tension. It involves moments where things don't make sense. But it also leads to something powerful: clarity, purpose, understanding. As the festival continues, the division remains. No resolution, no clear agreement, just tension and possibility. Because in the middle of that division, people are still watching, still listening, still deciding. And that is where transformation begins, not in perfect agreement, but in honest searching. So if you find yourself in a place of questioning today, if you feel unsure, if you feel caught between different perspectives, that's not a bad place to be. It's a starting point, because it means you are thinking, you are seeking, you are open, and that openness is where truth can enter. Jesus stands in the middle of the crowd, unchanging, unshaken, uncompromising, and the question remains, who do you say he is? Not based on the noise, not based on the division, but based on truth. Because in the end, that is what matters, and that is what will shape your path forward. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today.